Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and welcome to How to Gain the Competitive Edge in Professional Bid Writing with AutogenAI. My name is Georgia, and I'm the content and social media lead here at AutogenAI. We've put together today's session to show you how you can leverage our tool for your bid and proposal writing and highlight some of its main features and benefits. During the webinar, the chat will be open for any questions that you may have, which we'll answer at the end, and a recording of this webinar will be sent to those who registered. Presenting today is Lucy Southall, a user coach at AutogenAI, who I'll pass over to now.
Hey everybody, welcome. Yes, as Georgia was saying, my name's Lucy and I'm a user coach at AutogenAI. So my role essentially involves introducing our new users to the system and conducting regular training sessions with them all the way through their onboarding process. And also I'm really interested in user feedback. So I send that over to our product team and our engineers and designers to make sure that we're constantly enhancing the quality of our products. So the purpose of this webinar is to showcase AutogenAI, as you should be able to see now on the screen, with all of its features and the benefits that it can offer. So I should probably let you know that AutogenAI is currently the fastest growing generative AI company in the UK. And right now, our enterprise level solutions are being used by clients across 3 continents for bid writing, thought leadership, marketing copy, and so much more. So AutogenAI has been designed to give businesses this competitive edge, which is what's really needed to win work in today's market. And our cutting edge natural language processing software is what makes a company's language work for them, saving time and money, and also improving the quality of their bids and proposals. Now, as everyone on this call will probably know, bid writing is a multifaceted, time-consuming process that involves extensive research, comprehensive data interpretation, and creative flair as well. And of course, there are so many different stages. There's understanding the project scope, gathering information, crafting responses, you've got your formatting guidelines, and then of course, drafting and redrafting until you get to that final stage where you're ready to submit. So this system has been built by bid writers for bid writers. We have so many writers in our company, and we've designed it with exactly this in mind. It's to go with the workflow of writers to address each and every one of their pain points. So when we look forward, we envisage a future where there probably won't be a business case, a bid, a proposal, or a brochure that's going to be written without the aid of AI. And it's kind of like, just as it's unthinkable to create a financial model without Excel, it has become clear that it just doesn't make sense to write without generative AI. So I think that those who embrace this technology are going to be those that stay ahead and continue to win new business, drive organizational growth, and that is across all sectors. So I want to dive straight into the demo. So I'm just going to check you should be able to see my screen, and we're going to have a look at how AutogenAI works and what it can do for your team's writing process. So let's start with an overview. You can see I've got these tabs across the top here. So we've got the Ideator, the one I'm in now, where you can actually come up with ideas for your first draft and then work to kind of structure the narrative of that first draft as you go. Then you've got the editor here. So you can see that I've already got some work in here. And this is where you can continue to hone and improve and review that first draft. Then you've got your inputs tab, which allows you to insert things like objectives or win themes, tender requirements, anything that you want to emphasize for a particular customer that you want to be able to weave into your text. Maybe it's a proposal, maybe it's a marketing campaign, unique selling points, whatever it is, you can add it here. Then you've got Research Assistant, where you can access the internet and your library to ask anything. And when I mention the library, what I'm talking about here is your document library. So this is where you can have a huge amount of documentation that support your organization, that you can work with document managers that are assigned within your team to upload and organize and continually update to make sure that you can just keep adding relevant information to aid your content. I think of the library as the kind of memory for the artificial intelligence. So it's what's going to support it in coming up with super relevant ideas. And I can even toggle off specific folders that I want to access at a given time. And there's so much security around your document library too. We have been working to the ISO 27701 and so many more commitments to privacy and support of document standards across the industry. So let's go into each section in a little bit more detail. This is the Ideator. This is where you can go to start the writing process to begin to build and generate ideas that will form the overall structure of your bid response. These ideas go on to become your subheadings, or they might replicate sections of a storyboard that constitute the planning phase of any project. So I might start with a question. Maybe it's a bid question, maybe it's a question I'm working on for a report. Let's go with this. How does AutogenAI make bidding more efficient? Then I can add a bit of context to further funnel the AI to best support the kind of responses I want. So I can write a little bit in there about what the document is, who it's for, where it's based. You can see here, AutogenAI is bidding to be on the UK government's framework for artificial intelligence providers. Great, I've got my context. I can even modify my ideas too, perhaps picking a specific tone. Maybe today, let's go with strategic. Now, you might want to know where these ideas are going to be coming from. Well, I don't know how about you guys write, but when we've designed this software, we have gone from the perspective of a writer and the 3 different ways that you might be able to do that. First option I would probably go for is to work with my library, everything I've already written before. So I can generate using all documents in my library by unticking that toggle. And that's a pretty sensible place to start, given that we've probably written something along this subject line before. I can also use creative AI. So this is just enabling me to come up with ideas now. It's using the power of large language models, which have read over 700 billion words and are extremely powerful for coming up with high-level ideas that don't require current facts. I might not always want creative AI ticked. Sometimes I do just want to go with things we've written before, but I'm going to tick it for the purposes of today. We've also got the live internet AI, so I can even see what other people are doing and saying out there in the world. And then I can just click this button here and it's going to begin to demonstrate how it generates ideas, how it starts to compile what will become essentially the structure of my work. So rather than me having to get some subject matter experts into a room to gather, to ask, to brainstorm, I can access these 3 vast sources to begin to answer my question. And in just a couple of moments, it's already spat out some pretty useful ideas. Now, if I want to check where the idea has come from, I can see creative AI will be the large language model. Library AI has actually told me exactly what from my library it has based this response from. We can immediately take a look by clicking this link and reading a little bit more around that idea within that document. Or I can click Internet AI and I can see that this idea has come from this specific article. So I might start to choose and select ideas that I think are relevant to my question, how does AutogenAI make bidding more efficient? Maybe something about streamlining, I might like that. I can start to say, actually, no, I don't want to include this statistic, so I press minus. So I'm just almost working with my human intelligence now to apply judgment. AI is really good at coming up with ideas fast, and humans are really good at having judgment, so we can actually start to pick and choose ideas that we think are relevant. Automating tasks from the internet, I think that's useful. Maybe this one I don't like. So I can constantly hone and refine. And then I'm left with ideas on this side. And we'll have a creative one in there too. I can even add a custom idea, depending on perhaps something that's come up in a team meeting. And then I get to apply my judgment again, because humans are also really good at structuring arguments. So I might reorder these to best suit how I want to angle my response, how I want to angle my argument. And then I click generate paragraphs and the system will begin to build out a response based on this planning phase. So it's actually building paragraphs based on these kind of fundamental points that I have here, that I've used my human intelligence to order, that I've used my human intelligence to select from a list, but that the AI has supported me in coming up with in the first place. So excellent for getting off the blank page. And you can see here down the bottom, my answers have already started to be filled out. I've got just over 2,000 words there. I've got my first draft. So really useful way to just get yourself off the blank page. And then you can see I've got a series of features that I can start to include here. So I like this first draft in some ways, but I probably want to improve it. And this is where I can start to use the features along the top. Now, one of the features that I'd love to show you first is this we will feature, which takes passive text and changes it into active bid or proposal text. So in one click, I can change these paragraphs to come from a we will perspective. AutogenAI will. I've entered my company name in inputs, so the system knows that I'm talking from the perspective of AutogenAI. And in just a couple of clicks, I can instantly change that into a powerful active piece of text. And I'm always getting multiple options. We can see we've got 3 options here just from clicking we will, so that it gives me that choice, and it always tells me how many words or characters it's increased or reduced by as well. I might send in option 1 for this. I can also, another favorite feature that I want to highlight to you guys is the ability to just search. So if I find a little bit of text that I want to just check where it came from, I want to verify it, I want to do a little bit more research on it, I can say, okay, you're talking about alleviating workload. Let me just click search here and see if that comes up. This does a hybrid search of both the internet and my library to find where this exact piece of text might appear both semantically and literally word for word within my document library and also online. And again, I can go to the source immediately by clicking here, and it will take me either to the website that this comes up in or into my library to read around that subject in the document. Really useful for evidencing, to check things as well. Now, that's kind of a couple of my favorite features, but I'd love to take you through a couple more of these along the top. So I might find that I want to expand a particular snippet of text so I can write a little bit more about a certain topic. I know that in my team, we really like talking about incorporating error detection, perhaps. So I can highlight this, and I can click expand, and the system is going to use both creative AI here and the library, of which I can tick or untick, should it suit me, to see where there might be some relevant information. And it's actually built out more a response that I can send in and add a lot more detail to that particular subject. Now, I may actually be working to a tight word count and find that actually that's a little bit too long for me. So I can go next along the line, summarize. You can see here immediately it's written the same, tried to retain the meaning, but actually reduced it down in terms of words. So that could be enough in terms of my word reduction, but I may actually find that, no, I don't want to just summarize it. I want to reduce it by a very specific word count. So I can go here and enter the exact amount of text. So let's say I wanted to highlight just a few paragraphs. I know I'm working to maybe a 1,000 word or 750 word limit. And this particular section I want to reduce down. You can see it's got 225 words, or I could even do it by characters. For today, I want to take it down to maybe 180, just reducing it by a few, burning the midnight oil, working on my bid and wanting to reduce it down. And I get to do that in just one click, saving loads of time. I can always check what changes have been made as well. So I can take particular sections, just copy and paste the relevant bits, or as before, send the option straight in. Loads of ways that you can reduce text down, as we know that working to tight word counts is really important. Talked about summarize there, talked about word and character count. I really love this new feature, word cutting. I can remove adverbs, adjectives, and replace commas with slashes, which really does help me to beat those particular word counts, especially when I'm limited in time. A couple of other features to mention from across the top here. The next one is improve grammar. So you might find that you want to type in some meeting notes and you find that they're just not in a very good way. I know if I'm speaking from my own experience, I write lots of notes in meetings, type them all out really quickly, and the grammar is not great. I can just instantly highlight blocks of text and improve grammar. There we are. Instantly, it's made that change for me just to demonstrate, but you can do this on bigger pieces of text as well. Really good for those who English might not be their first language, and it fixes spelling, grammar. Particularly useful for taking free writing. You might free write on an idea, how to answer a question, and you can improve grammar and it will improve straight away. Another one similar but actually quite different in function is rephrase. So I often try to write and rewrite things, grappling with how best to portray a particular point. Sometimes I just free write into this system, click rephrase, and it's going to give me multiple options. saying the same thing as guided by our prompt engineers to retain the meaning, but deliver it in a different way. It's kind of like a synonym in computer form to allow me to rephrase things regularly. Also, I can take pieces of text already published and I can rephrase them just to kind of say the same but different, and I can send that in a different version of the same. Now, one of the things you may have noticed in this demo is that artificial intelligence tends to be very US centric. So obviously we don't necessarily want to write with the US spelling. So what we can do is go over to our inputs tab. So I've talked a little bit about Ideator, talked about editor. Let's go into the inputs tab. You can see here, I've got the opportunity to change objectives, values. I can rewrite these as wind themes, maybe hot buttons, whatever it is I'm working on. But I can also change the language. Let's put in here British English, give it a tick. And I can go back into the editor and I can find a piece of text that has some Americanisms. And then I go to this button, translate, and you can see that it's added British English because that was what I put in the inputs. So having the inputs tab there really does give you that extra layer of control for what you want the features to do. Additionally, obviously, we can also translate to French, the language that was in there before, or actually over 100 different languages. And we've had some excellent feedback on the success rate and accuracy of those translations. In fact, we've come up higher than a lot of our competitors when it comes to translations. So we're really proud to say that a lot of the time, the translations are ready to use. Now, as with everything in this system, it's always worth double checking. It does need that human eye. It's not meant to replace a human's writing ability, but having that translation button really does allow you to write proposals for multiple different countries and to really give great outputs when it comes to your writing there. Now, this is one of my favorite features. This is our tone of voice button. You can see it says change to AutogenAI tone of voice. So because we're a group of writers really passionate about writing, we love Shakespeare, and we decided we wanted to make our tone of voice Shakespearean. So what we do with the tone of voice button is actually have prompt engineers within our team take on board your particular style documents, brand guidelines, particular ways of speaking that you and your company might have developed. And we incorporate those documents to create this custom prompt. So for our company, we've done it in Shakespearean. So hopefully, there we are. Furthermore, AutogenAI doth play a vital part in the enhancement of bid submission quality. Not exactly written by Shakespeare, but it's in Shakespeare's style, which I think really clearly demonstrates how that tone of voice button can be super useful. You might have new employees, you might have a marketing team that have worked on your tone of voice. To be able to highlight text and instantly change it to that is one of my favorite features, and it's been super popular with our clients. So I have decided to incorporate this Shakespearean text. Just a couple more features to run past you. Going back to the inputs tab, you saw there that we had written out some objectives, values, win themes. Perhaps we want to actually incorporate those into a piece of text. So to do that, I would just find a relevant piece of text, highlight it as per the process with the other features. Let's go for a couple of paragraphs here. And then I click this jigsaw puzzle. It's called incorporate. So incorporate matches up to the inputs. When I hit that, I'm presented with the exact same 3 headings that I saw in the inputs tab, but I get to choose which one of those objectives or values or win themes that I want to incorporate into this text. Perhaps we had a meeting as a team where we said we really want to highlight the work we're doing to protect the environment. I can select that win theme and it will incorporate it into the text. I can even see the ways in which it's changed it. It's mentioning here our contribution to environmental sustainability and also promote. There we are, which is useful for what I want to say, and I can incorporate that in straight away. I can hone these over time as well. I can make these a lot more detailed. I can have specific examples, but for the purposes of today, I've kept these win themes quite simple, and then I can highlight text and incorporate them. Now, we've started to work our way along the buttons. We've talked about expand, summarize, improve grammar, all prompts that we've designed to enable you to work in one click. There's change tense, translate, incorporate, rephrase, we will, the word count and cutting features, the tone of voice. Now, on this side, we have evidencing tools. It's essential when you're working on a bid or proposal to constantly give specific examples. So you can literally do that by clicking, for example, or you can even add a specific statistic from the internet, from your library. The system is going to allow you to do that when you highlight the text and you click one of these evidencing buttons. So really useful for bolstering your response. The other example I really wanted to show you was how to use pure completion. This handy lightning bolt is your chance to ask anything of the system. Essentially, design yourself a custom command. You can directly prompt the AI, talk directly with your own language. So I might say, let's say a piece of text here that I want to work with. I might say, turn the above into bullet points for a slideshow. And then I hit pure completion, and it does exactly that. Takes on board my command. I can be really detailed with my prompts here. I can say, write a formal and friendly, let's say I've got one written out. I can guide it in whatever way suits me. Write a formal and friendly custom email to a risk officer using the above information and requesting a meeting discuss. Something that might take me a good half an hour. I can just highlight the text, click pure completion, and it will do so. I can say change the above into a LinkedIn post. Essentially anything. I can get the system to work for me by just writing a prompt by scratch. I can get it to repurpose a piece of text as I've just done, or I can even get it to complete sentences. Hence the name pure completion. It does the task for you. So you can see here that the email has come up and I sent it in and it appears just below. So you've got all these features on the left-hand side that transform text and all these ways on the right to add to text. You've also got different tabs here, the research assistant. You can ask anything to the system. How about just a question, maybe a quantitative question? Let's put this in. How many jobs are there in the UK education sector? Really good to do, as it says on the tin, get assistance in your research. While you're working in the software, you may want to support your assertion. Yes, through search and some of the other modalities I've mentioned, but Research Assistant is allowing you to scrape the top 10, 15, 20 results from a search engine and bring them in here to create a piece of text that is cited and sourced with the relevant information for where the data has come from underneath. So in just a couple of seconds, the system has accessed these multiple different sources to build out this response, this answer. And I can immediately just take that to my clipboard and paste into the editor. Here, I'll find a relevant piece that I want to add it to. And I can just paste it in there. Piece of text that's cited and sourced. And I can even view sources that have been used here. Really useful for gathering more information. So I can ask multiple different questions here to get many, many different answers. But what it does is combines them into this little paragraph that's really useful to just already have my answer written. Now, last tab to show you is Extract, a new and really exciting feature for us, where you can browse files, you can drag and drop files, drag and drop bid specifications in, and then you can scrape the text for very specific things that you're looking for. So maybe it's bid decision information. Maybe you've read the document once, but you need to go back and find a specific date or timeline or statistics. In just one click, I can pull this out. It will take a couple of minutes and it can scan through information. And it really has a vast amount of space for you to do this. We've uploaded the whole of War and Peace to here before to extract specific information from it. This has got my commissioner's priorities here, all pulled out from the document. And again, I can immediately copy these to clipboard, paste them into the editor, and start working on them in my doc. In fact, I might even say, actually, I'm going to take this and not just have vendors must. I'm going to say, we will. So I can take spec text and say, we will. And I can send that back through. And I'm going to go, actually, that's not very detailed. Let's expand on it. So I'm starting to work directly from the bid specification to answer the question. If I want it to be referring to my library, I can make sure that there's the relevant information in my library and ensure that an answer comes up there to support the assertion that we will do such a thing that is listed here. So extract, really useful feature for pulling out information. We even have our history here, so you can see previous documents that I've pulled out, previous extractions that I've done, and I can go back and drag in another. So when you're working with multiple appendix and you want to upload them, you can do so here, or you can paste text as well. So as you can see, there's multiple ways to address the pain points of writers, and all these features are combined to basically help you create content faster and more efficiently than ever before, but also to a more detailed quality. At AutogenAI, we believe in augmented intelligence, which is the power of humans and AI together. So rather than just replacing bid writers, it's more accurate to say that we are delegating tasks to AI. When you're using this software, you can get a good draft standard in minutes instead of hours or days, and then spend the rest of your time using human intelligence to incorporate activity, strategic thinking, and get the bid up to a winning standard. By automating all these time-consuming and mundane aspects of searching your library, of bidding, of working through the process, what we're trying to do is give business everywhere and across all sectors this competitive edge by giving them more time to focus on strategic planning, building strong relationships with clients, and completing those high-level tasks. So thanks so much for watching the demonstration. I am now going to answer some questions. So the first one is, am I good to go ahead, Georgia?
Yeah, good to go ahead, Lucy.
Where does the data sit in the world and on-prem or cloud? And Cam, one of my sales team, has said AWS too. So then we've got, do you offer a trial period for users to evaluate the system? And if so, how do we sign up? Yes, we do. We offer a test and play session where we create a temporary instance, so a login for you and your organization, and then you get to test it for a day. And very often we have a team on board to answer questions, ensure you're getting the most out of it, and best support you through that process. Can we get a session of the recording to go through again? Yes, we do have a recording, and it will be sent to all attendees. And I wonder if there are any more questions.
Yeah, there was just a few questions that came through on the regular chat. So a question from Lisa here was, is there a limit on the amount of words it will generate for a response? So yes, so each idea will generate between about 150 to 350 words per response. And then these can expand up to about 700 words. So I think for this example, this person asked how we would get up to a response of about 3,000 words. So that would just need a few interactions with the AI to get you from that kind of 700 up to the 3,000 words for your full response. As well, Neil Humphrey has asked if there's an option for British UK spelling, not US. So yes, we can manipulate this text and change it back to British English very easily with our translate feature. And as well, there was a question that came through there as well about if it can be translated into different languages. So yes, we can translate into about 100, over 100 different languages altogether. Let's just see what other questions came through here on the chat. So another question from Neil here as well. He asked if it pulls info or statistics from the web. So say, for example, if someone asked it to give the statistics of the amount of unemployed people in Leicester, would it have an answer? So yes, that is the exact purpose of the research assistant tool that Lucy spoke about. So I think she's actually going to give a demonstration here.
I've completely forgotten how to spell Leicester. I think it's like that. It's wrong. It might not be able to do it if I get it wrong. But carry on with the questions, Georgia. I'll just kind of demo as you go.
Yeah, no problem. So Alexandra has asked as well if there is a guarantee that the content we upload is 100% confidential and that it's not shared with our competitors. So this is a question that we get all the time. Confidentiality is really important to everyone, of course. So yes, Alexandra. So each large language engine is bespoke to each client. It's hosted in AWS too, and nobody will be able to access your documents apart from your assigned users. I think, Lucy, you have the answer there generated from Research Assistant.
Yes, you can see it's gone through these internet sources. Yes.
Yeah. So
Thanks, Tom Jackson, for the spelling.
um, So we had, let me just look at these questions here that have come through. We've got loads of questions from everyone today. That is great. So Lisa has asked as well, so what is our differentiator compared to ChatGPT? So ChatGPT is a great conversation AI tool, but our software in particular is built by bid writers for bid writers. So it's able to safely and securely store and reference previous bid material. And I think that's the real differentiator is this is bespoke for your bid and proposal writing.
Yeah, I might also just be mentioning that AutogenAI is secure, whereas with ChatGPT, you're constantly training the model, meaning that potentially confidential company information could be spat out to external users. We've already seen that's happened with some government secrets. So with AutogenAI, it's all kept secure within your instance. As you were saying, it's kind of specifically designed for companies, for large companies, small companies, to be able to keep those things secure. It's not really a chatbot; it's more of a prose writing software.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Lucy. So Chris Milburn put in here as well that he believes that a bid should follow your customer's tone of voice, not yours. Can you set AutoGen AI up with a different tone of voice to reflect your customer's way of speaking? Absolutely, Chris. Each client gets a custom built tone of voice for what tone of voice you want to generate content in. Um, Manish has asked if we provide a trial version of the software to play around. We can provide some test and plays for the service. Is it accessible for SMEs or just enterprise? Yes, we do have plans for SMEs as well as enterprise and as well charities. Someone has asked as well here, is there a limit on the data we can upload to our library? Yeah, the answer there is 2 million documents at a maximum of 2 gigabytes per document. Kathy has asked as well if we can share the chat Q&A with us. Yep, sure. Yeah, that's no problem. Well, this will all be recorded and sent around to everyone as well, where you can view the Q&As again.
You can also change color too, just to keep your text separate and organized.
Yeah. So Manish has asked as well, what are the top 3 differentiators for AutoGen AI compared to others in the market? So our top 3 would be that this is innovative AI tool. So we were actually the first company in the UK to hire prompt engineers 24 months ago. So we are therefore years ahead of any other bid software in the generative AI space. Data security, we have an eyes off agreement with each large language model provider so that your data is not used to train proprietary models. And our service, of course, we are a company filled with previous bid writers, managers, and directors, and we walk you through how to implement this software into your organization. Another question here, does the tool generate PowerPoint-based proposals or oral decks? So it will generate the content for your PowerPoint slide. You just have to copy and paste it into PowerPoint. Someone has asked as well, what's the cost point per user? So this is dependent on the number of users. Our current clients range from 2 users to 5,000 users, ranging from non-for-profit organization to FTSE 250 clients. They just waiting to see if there's any more questions that come through here. Just going through these questions and answers here. Yeah, Neil, if you want to proceed, you can contact us through the contact form on our website, AutogenAI.com, or else you can reach out to us at contact@AutogenAI.com on email. So I think that should be just about our time. I'll just see. Okay, that's brilliant. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Is there any okay, that is great. I'll just give one more minute. Okay, that is fine. Yeah, so I think that should be just about our time. Thank you to everyone who has joined us this morning and all of those who asked questions. We really hope that you found this session helpful. As I said, if you want to view this again, a recording will be going out to everyone who registered, or if you want to learn more, you can reach out to us via our website, autogenai.com, or email contact@autogenai.com. So thank you very much, and goodbye.